I'm back and we are going to talk about TI4 overlay. So, I do not want to alarm you too much with this hellscape of a image. I'll be hiding it real quick. So, first thing is, what is an overlay actually? So you should be seeing here, yeah, you should be seeing the TI4 overlay. This is a awesome tool that Daryl made for us that basically is going to give us all of the data in the game in bite-sized bits that we can put in various parts of the screen in order to make it easily visible for players. So you can see that it has all these different windows, and this is just a app that you download and it's on your computer. You have to have it open while you're streaming. Other than that, it can just be minimized. It doesn't have to be up. I'm just showing you what it looks like. So it has all these different boxes. And yeah, that's pretty much all it looks like. Super easy, super chill. Very awesome. So let's talk about how to set that up. All right, the hellscape is gone. Sorry about that. Right. So, in order to get our overlay, which you can kind of see is around here now, set up, here is what we're going to do. And this is not something you have to do every time you stream. Turning it on is, but actually setting it up, we're only going to do once. We're going to save all the stuff, and then we're never going to have to do it again, which is awesome. Because I'm very lazy too. Okay, so all we do is we start up a game here in Tabletop Playground. And we talked about this on a previous video, so I'm not going to worry too much about going over all of this specifically. So we're going to start up our game. We're going to go to the streamer tab, and most importantly, we are going to activate Buddy. So when we click activate Buddy, it turns on, essentially, our overlay. It feeds into the game, like, what's going on with all of this stuff. Couple cool things about the overlay. So first of all, you can change the colors, and it will change in the overlay. So you can see we had a purple player, now we have a pink player. Great. There's no more purple player, only pink. Very cool. Overlay will automatically update with that, so you don't have to worry about that. So how do we get that big chunky thing I showed you earlier into a useful overlay like you see here with all of these different sections, right? You can see that I've got a scoreboard up at the top and some other stuff. So let's do a quick demo. So what we're going to do, and I'll show you how to do this a little bit later in this video, is we are going to import this nice chunky overlay thing as an object into OBS. And then we just have to stick it in here, basically. Then, once it's in here, we're going to be able to copy paste it a bunch of times and make all the little tools do whatever it is that we want to make the tools. Now, a couple things worth noting. This thing is updating pretty much constantly. So you can see that it's active and all these little dots, that's it touching in with the game and making sure it knows what's going on. Very cool. So let's see. Let's get started with how to make sure this works. And by the way, this will continually update, which means if something changes in the game, it will change in your overlay right away. So for example, I'm going to take the blue seat. Ta-da! Oh my gosh. Look, that cat, it is me. Very cool. I can set up a faction. Oh look, I'm playing Yssaril. Nobody is surprised. And now it tells you which faction I am, and it shows my board. Great. Love that for me. And it set up my home system. Okay. And it shows my plastic and some other stuff down here. Okay, very cool. So, how is it that we get all of this stuff crammed into here and ready to go? So, basically, in OBS, we have what are called sources. And I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. But you're going to just add a source, which again, I'll talk about in a separate video, which is TI for Buddy. And then you just stick it on the screen. Very simple, very cool. Once it's on the screen, it is really easy to crop things and copy paste them to get all the different tools and bits that you want. So let's say you want to add this horizontal scoreboard onto your overlay. All you have to do, and I think we're going to go back to the Hellscape mode just so you can see a little bit more clearly what I'm doing. Yeah, oh, that's not going to work, is it? Okay, whatever. I'll just show it to you here. Right. So what you don't necessarily see around this thing is that it has a red border around it with like the normal sizing sliders, just like a picture in Microsoft Word or something. And all you have to do is, so if you move them normally, it will just resize this. If you want to crop something out, you just hold Alt and use the same sliders. So I hold Alt and I drag from the top, and oh look, it's getting smaller, smaller, smaller. I'm gonna get the scoreboard. Yep. And you do have to scroll by dragging it around the screen sometimes, just to make sure you have access. Awesome. So I did all that by holding Alt while dragging, and then now I can resize it from the same buttons if I want. To make it whatever size I want and plop it up where I want it. You can leave the label scoreboard in, or you can crop that out. And we have it in here with a transparent background, so it's very easy to make it look good. And then, yeah, you can put it wherever you want. Right, and then let's say you want to add something else. You just copy and paste. I've hit the wrong button. There we go. Yeah, so we just copy paste the overlay. And like, oh, this one looks the same. But even though we copy pasted it, we can expand the copy pasted one. It still has all the bits and pieces. And so, for example, let's say we want this turn order window. We can just have this. It does have extra players at the bottom. We don't need those. And I can just plunk this up here and like, oh, I want it smaller so I'm not obstructing so much of the screen. That's no problem. Right. So that is how we are going to shift our stuff into an overlay that works, basically. And all we have to do is have the overlay open on, it can be minimized, off screen, doesn't really matter. And in TTPG, all you had to do is activate Buddy. And then you can have whatever you want. Now, when I talk more about OBS, we'll talk about how to make separate kind of different screens. So you might have, for example, an action phase setup. You might have a combat phase setup, and all of these different things are all just parts of the overlay, and they will update as the game goes. Obviously, right now it's a little bit sparse looking because we don't have our players sitting in seats, we don't have a map going, we don't have a full game going. But as the game goes, all of this will populate and give you a lot of information about what's happening, which is helpful both for you and for other people. You can have a screen with lots of overlay on it, like this. You can have one with overlay plus other images, which I can show you when we talk more about OBS. And yeah, so once you have everything set up as an input, it's really easy to get your overlay set up, and you can make it look however you want. You can, because you can put in other images and things, you can put like funny frames around it. Matt and Hunter have their custom stuff. I know Al has like moving animal images and things. You can do all kinds of different things that make it work for you. So that is how we set up our overlay. We will talk about OBS next.